To all who come to this rainy stream, welcome. It has been so dark and wet today in California. Apparently we have another atmospheric river above our heads this winter, so no worries for droughts this year again, I guess. By the way, I have my volume output much louder than usual, so if it's too much, let me know. I see my voice is like teetering on the edge of yellow, so let me know if that is a problem. Sounds good? Okay, great. Well, maybe as long as I don't scream into the mic, I think we should be fine, right? And before we get started, I just want to say real quick happy birthday to Billy Kid from Zenless Zone Zero. November 25th is his birthday canonically. And shameless plug, I posted a birthday celebratory drawing on my various socials, but for Hoyo Lab specifically, I entered it into the ongoing fan art contest. So there's a chance that my drawing may become an official profile background image if people like it and the judges are like, oh, this is pretty popular and we don't have to pay them for it. We shall see. It goes on until December 1st, I think, so if you have a Hoyo Lab account, find me, like and comment all the stuff. Thank you. Anyways, we got through half of the first case for Great Ace Attorney, so hopefully we can finish this today. Excellent work, Ryunosuke. That was superb. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there, you were drenched in sweat, your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it! It's terrifying! Can't get this Japanese accent down. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your phantom lady at last. Right, they were talking about an unidentified third party. Miss Giselle Brett, a student from Great Britain, is she? That's what I was trying to tell everyone from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be overly confident in the courtroom, but my powers of observation are one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, about this young gentlewoman. Thanks to our detective friend, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just on my way out of the restaurant myself. Then, on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table, I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor, and just after I bent down and picked it up, bang! I didn't have time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. The waiter ran over to me, looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me into some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. I had to remind myself who the detective was. It's the guy coughing up blood. Not Gumshoe, our beloved detective from the original series. Yes, and because I was shot in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside in the dining area. Hey, pal! Nice going in the courtroom. Ah, there you are. Well done, both of you. Why is this so loud? Professor Mikotowa. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy, our justice system even more so, which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. Well, it makes no difference. I just want to see your best friend get sent to jail for something he didn't do. Lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can't help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life. I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. Oh damn, he went there! What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your sense. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma! Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. Oh man. Trigger warning to people with scopophobia. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing Aria this morning, didn't he? That was a random place to autosave, but okay. If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John H. Wilson was a visiting professor at Yume, and it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case. Quash, what a word. But I've no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight, right to the last. Best of luck. Thank you. Nothing. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. I can't mimic Kana Hanazawa's voice, please forgive me. Defendant Naruhodo! Court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal the decisive blow, before those old fossils know what's hit them. Old fossils, you mean like the US government? Kazuma... What? Thank you, Ryari. What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believed me, then I'm fairly sure I'd already have been found guilty by now. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. Coming from you, that means a lot. I'm still thinking about that one line from last week. You don't trust me that I can get you off? If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on his dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely cannot afford to lose. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me to one of those sukiyaki meals I like from Yume Cafeteria on University Street. With an extra large portion, of course. Sukiyaki sounds pretty good. I feel like sukiyaki is more for special occasions, though. I forgot my plushie. Oh well. The court hereby resumes the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Prosecutor Aochi, have you managed to subpoena the witness?
Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under rather painful scrutiny from the government.
Sorry. Let the government scrutinize. That's their job. It's nothing to worry about. For real, though.
It's highly unlikely that the good relations we've forged with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation founders?
Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryunosuke.
What do you mean?
A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England?
Shut up! Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy!
I hope I'm not blowing out the mic. My mic does not like high-pitched noise.
You and your friend know nothing. Nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures.
I won't deny that I'm no expert, but just a student, and one who could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there's one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country with no future at all. Oh. Well said, Ryunosuke, despite the wide-eyed look of terror.
You little brats!
Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. I keep thinking that bottle next to the judge is like a whiskey bottle. It's not, it's a water bottle. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Giselle Brett.
Yes. Your Excellency!
Sake bottle. Oh, you might be right. That could be sake. Hello, ma'am. I forgot. England had this kind of big hat fashion back in the day.
Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan, and from such a distant land.
Tea! Someone bring English tea! In England, no discussions take place without tea. Is that true? No idea.
So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court?
Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at La Carnival.
Yes, we know all about you already.
Inspector Hosonaga,
Where are your manners? In England, it's always ladies first.
Is that true?
No idea.
More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are the one thing you're sure of. Oh. Oh, yes, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman, quote unquote. Sorry, Ryunosuke, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Man, this Kazuma is so full of the burns this time around. Also, it's interesting to me, I didn't realize this last week, but they're on a first name basis in English, which totally makes sense, but in the Japanese they go by last names, so it's Naruhodo and Asogi. It's kind of interesting. Guilty. Like, even in Japan, if you're good enough friends, you would be on a first name basis, so I don't know what that means for the Japanese dub.
So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please.
She moved. So this translated poorly. If you were to play in Japanese dub, she would be presumably speaking British English. I think here she's speaking French? No?
I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but what?
But what? The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student, currently enrolled in University's medical faculty.
Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the dulcet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird song.
As far as I can tell. The detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yes, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? No, you've clearly been paying attention in your English classes, Ryunosuke. I guess it was British English. How funny. The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe that you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? Always the awkward translating pauses. She says, yes. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? Well, wow, they're presumed speaking Japanese, that's funny. Suspend your beliefs, everybody. Disbeliefs, I mean. She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. That doesn't answer the question, but alright. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the Bureau.
Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes over this photographic print? Photographic print? Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator, perhaps?
Resplendent, eh? Apparently it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight.
Do you mean to say?
Yes, it would appear that the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. Jeez, that dress though.
Order! Order in the court!
I don't know why I added the whoops.
Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement.
Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemies.
Slap.
Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify, if you please.
Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. Imagine if we could speak in cursive. Or maybe that's what drunken slurs are. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon with Dr. Wilson that day. The professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only, a beefsteak. Oh my gosh. I don't know why it was so creepy when she turns. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. Then not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. Why did the professor have a gun on him? Jeez. Excuse me. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit.
This is a condemning test.
No, I didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all.
Quiet, you filthy wretch! Look at you, you black-hearted blackguard! And look at this snow-white angel! I'm sure even a dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine whose words the court is going to believe.
Ouch, you should have been like a poet. Or a reporter, maybe. He has all the adjectives. You're still making the same mistakes, Junosuke. You mustn't blurt out when you're goaded like that. That's a lesson you need to learn.
But he's so annoying.
Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the two witnesses who testified before and reported back to the bureau. My chair squeaked, sorry. It was decided that Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last two witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so. Jesus, that dog. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. I don't know, man. That hat looks pretty empty up there. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to.
Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot.
This is moot. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Classic feminine fashion. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. That's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryunosuke. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must have been another gun there that day. You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. Ooh, that smile, it's so good.
The defense may now cross-examine the witness.
Oh, yes, Your Excellency. Hi! Let's see. I guess I'll just press on all of them now. Hi! After 2 p.m. in fact. That's really quite a late lunch, isn't it?
don't keep up with the latest fashions from Britain, do you? Late Londons are on vogue, isn't that right?
A la mode, perhaps?
No.
A decisive English no has quite a sting to it.
I wish it was Australian. No. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So it was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence area. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late. Thank you for reiterating. I personally kind of forgot about that detail. Yes, that all makes perfect sense.
Such wonderful logic. What a shining example of English intelligence this fine gentlewoman is.
So you both arrived at the restaurant. What happened next? Professor was unable to eat. I feel like that might be worth shaking up a bit. He was unable to eat, you say? And that was because he just had a tooth removed at Hotta Clinic, correct? That's right. You're supposed to actually check with the witness before answering. Was Miss Brett aware of that fact? It seems so, yes. She'd heard that the professor was to have some dental treatment. So that would mean that it was you who ate the steak he pictured here. Is that right, Miss Brett? That's right, yes. The print you have there shows the table exactly as it was left after the horrifying events. Exactly as it was left.
Dear me, what a harrowing experience. To have traveled to a distant island on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic incident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I will crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight.
So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right. Other than some carbonated water. I feel like that's a terrible idea after a procedure? You had a tooth removed and you drink spicy water? Ow. I could never. I mean, I don't like carbonated water to begin with, but... Just water? Yes. The professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So he chose the most painful option possible. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. They each raised a glass of carbonated water. What do you think, Ryunosuke, about the witness's last statement? It's very meaningful.
Slap!
That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case.
Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing?
Love the eyes twitching. Not twitching, but... The significance of the statement will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness's last statement to be formally added to the testimony.
Well sidestepped, counsel.
Very well. Miss Brett, kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony.
Gladly, she said. I hate that the mask also smiles. Very Deadpool-esque. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryunosuke.
That expression, he's so done, I love it. I love all of this. I ordered a beefsteak for myself, and the professor and I said cheers over a glass of carbonated water. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that.
I wanted to check my evidence.
I'm pretty sure there's only one glass. Yeah, okay. So both you and the professor drank this carbonated water, did you? Yes. Being the waiter, I poured the 2 glasses myself. I clearly remember doing so. Except you're actually a detective. And the beefsteak. That was for you, Miss Britt. Sorry, all this is repetitive. The lady says that she'd heard it was not customary to eat beef here until Japan opened its doors to the world. Yes, that's true. What a frightful place, is the lady's opinion. And I've heard it's not customary to eat sashimi in Great Britain. Now that's frightful. Every country has its own cuisine. As long as people have food to eat, what does it matter what it is? Yeah. Oh boy, I can open a TCG pack. True. Come to think of it. The first time I tried carbonated water, it was much more of a shock than the first time I tried beef. But anyway, back to this witness's statement. That lost in thought face. We need to pounce on even the slightest thing now, because you never know what might lead us to our goal. Our goal of turning this trial around. Yes, the whole crux of this franchise. Understood, Cosmo. Alright. Press the right button, quite literally the right button, and... Hi! That's it! Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. Wow. That was a boring TCG pack that I just opened. How sad. That is correct, the lady says. Slap. Well, it's odd, very odd.
Dear me. What's odd is the defense's inability to express itself.
Ooh. Ugh. Ryunosuke, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously it's the cheers. Excuse me.
The cheers?
Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. You're quite right, Counsel. There is only 1 glass pictured here.
Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minutiae? Suspicious. Don't be suspicious. What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case?
Minutiae, you say. Am I saying that right? Could it be that the defense... wow. Could it be that the detective here removed a glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless.
Slap.
But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me you can drink with only 1? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table.
What?
It was also terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she says. She's saying. Good gracious. Goodness gracious.
Sorry. There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all.
Why?
Oh, please.
Yes, because stealing a glass from a restaurant is totally acceptable. I mean, college kids did it all the time at my college dining hall that I worked at, but...
We must remember that the student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before her very eyes. Who could blame her for concealing a glass or two in her state of disarray?
That's absurd!
Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable young and beautiful woman of mischief?
What? No, this can't be put down to mischief. I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene.
Yeah, I thought she couldn't fit a gun anywhere. How can you fit a glass?
It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England.
So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that this glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes to nothing. No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already.
Slap. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed this glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter to have no bearing on the case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? Well, I don't know, Diari. If you want to pursue this matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. Yes, you're right. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's... the handbag, she could have had a gun on it. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say?
Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items.
And if you're wondering why they explain handbags, like, did Japan have handbags? Not really. People would keep stuff in their long kimono sleeves back in the day. So, it's actually not super common back then, as far as my knowledge says. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag.
Slap.
In which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too.
What are you insinuating, you vile blackguard?
It's really very simple. I was just thinking, I wonder if Kazuma just said that to sound like he knew it all along. Well done, Ryunosuke. I totally knew that too. You didn't realize they actually use kimono sleeves like that? You thought it was a joke? Oh no, yeah, totally. There's a phrase, sodenoshita. It means under the sleeve. That's where you can hide little knickknacks and tchotchkes. Right. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must have been another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will.
You can't seriously be suggesting...
Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Giselle Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir, I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag.
No!
Order! Order! Order!
What is the meaning of this, Inspector?
The meaning of what, Prosecutor Aoji?
Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thanks to your bungling incompetence, now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations.
Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Cosmo? Oh dear. Somebody get this man a vapor rub. Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly you have no faith in the police. I mean, does anybody? As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank that student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting, and you forgot about it? What a detective you are. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. Ah! As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping to prove that, Naruhodo-san. Hey, cab. Ah! I don't know how I feel about those kind of see-through bags. I occasionally see people with like the clear plastic backpacks. Yeah, I don't really like those. Order! Order! Inspector Hosonaga, you will submit that print as evidence at once. Certainly, Your Excellency. Certainly, Your Excellency, with the utmost urgency. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. Let me take a look at that photo. Yeah. Yep. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photographic print just submitted into the court record appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling.
Indeed, and there is only one logical conclusion. That the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime.
No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Oh no, Kazuma, I don't like him looking so defeated. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there's no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it?
Sure. I must say you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat, while the strong eat.
Huh, I don't... Is that actually a saying in English? I mean, it's always used in Japanese lingo, but...
You're wasting your time. There's no way to defeat true justice. A fact you can chew onto your heart's content from the inside of yourself.
This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma, what? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest. Which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Slap. Very well. I will now proceed immediately to the ruling.
It seems we will be able to report to the British government on time after all.
That smug little... Ryunosuke naruhodo. Having considered all of the evidence placed before me... Oh, there we go. Wait, Your Excellency! Ryunosuke? I don't think you can rule on this case yet.
This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that the trial is over, he gives his ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom.
Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the photographic print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means that if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail I mean, then ruling on the case at this time would be out of the question.
This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this photographic print.
It makes me laugh with a glint, I don't know.
All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying on the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence.
You'd better know what you're doing, Ryunosuke. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag.
Ha! My thoughts exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes.
Yes, I am desperate, but this isn't a wheeze. There's something about this photograph which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Very well. I will grant the defense one final opportunity.
What?
Oh, scary. Yes, Daddy. Wait, excuse me. But be warned that if I am unsatisfied by your response here, the trial will be over with immediate effect. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Your Excellency.
Whoops, sorry. That was Ryunosuke. And I got so flustered by the judge. So take another look at the photographic print Inspector Hosonaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where in this print we see the significant detail to which you've alluded. This nice little mark right here. Hi! Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description. Or a tattoo.
Dear me, I was pondering what new piffle you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag.
Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report.
What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either.
The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by the curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Auchi points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn.
Blabbly blabbly blah.
Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brett has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now.
Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer.
That was a weird... never mind. I was like, why did the camera pan that way? To our right. I thought Auchi was standing to our left of the witness, whatever.
I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway.
What's your thinking on this, Ryunosuke? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with the case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? Really? Whoa, me? If we can just link that burn to the case. If we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again.
Just give up, Cancel. You can't possibly hope to do that.
Indeed. I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than conjecture. Or maybe a bribe or two would help. But if we had evidence that irrefutably linked the burn on the victim's wrist to the case, then you would allow it? I would, yes. And maybe a cocktail or two. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn, but as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brett's face, even though she's already pale as hell. Nieri? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find some evidence that proves what that burn really means. So then the defense will now present its evidence to the court. I can't get used to seeing the word defense spelled with a C instead of an S. The evidence that demonstrates... Is it this one? Yeah. What's this, Counsel? Yet another print? You know, the only scientific thing we have so far? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at a scene, we miss things. But in a photograph, things we may have overlooked at the time are recorded forevermore. Forevermore, I love that song from Beauty and the Beast.
Do hurry up, Rocky. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would be quite inexcusable.
Actually, we may need you to stay with us a little longer if you don't mind, Miss Brett. You see, it's very clearly visible in this other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually shaped burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. If that's your game, then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is it in this photograph that explains the reason why
This little guy.
that beefsteak?
Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The plate? Oh. Ah!
Your Excellency, are you alright?
As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of the carnival. Huh? Reminds me of Longhorn Steakhouse, but that might just be me. This emblem on the plate and the victim's barn are exactly the same shape.
Ah!
Ryunosuke, you genius. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. I stand corrected. The prosecution is to the left of the witness stand. Gasp! I knew it! They went to Longhorn Steakhouse. Do those even exist anymore? I don't see them around here in California.
But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time, because it has to.
Well, sadly, Prosecutor Achi, the chances of that are extremely slim. Thanks.
Why?
The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having missed such a terrible disaster, certainly.
But...
Oh, excuse me. I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And, although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. I can't decide on an accent for Hosonaga. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. Centigrade. 90 degrees centigrade. That's near boiling point. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation.
But you're a detective, not a waiter! Waiter!
There you have it. Something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who burnt themselves on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hosonaga never heard the professor scream. Not on that day or any before it. That's right. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. What are you suggesting? Well, if the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day. That would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer, all of us would, without any question, have heard him scream. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Aochi?
Yes, I suppose.
So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? He was muffled. I almost don't believe it. Ryunosuke, do you think he has a high pain tolerance? Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but I'm starting to think that maybe we've been led into a terrible trap.
It's a trap.
There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson was already deceased. Was asleep? I'm pretty sure he was deceased. Just to be clear, though I have already played these 2 games, I don't remember every single detail. And I don't have a walkthrough with me either. No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible, apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting? Yes, it's only possible if the man was already dead.
Already
Dead? Knowing what we know now, it's the only possible explanation. When the beefsteak was brought to Dr. Wilson's table that day, the professor was already dead.
That's madness!
God, I love the pipe organs in this song.
Order, please. Counsel, explain this absurd notion at once. The victim was killed by a gunshot.
That's right. That's absolutely right, Your Excellency. This is just another ridiculous ploy by the rookie student, but clearly he has no grasp of the facts.
No, I was about to say professor. Professor. No, Prosecutor Algie. It's you who has no grasp of the facts.
I beg your pardon?
As soon as it became apparent that the victim had suffered that burn while at the restaurant, this whole case was turned upside down. Or have you not grasped that yet? Your Excellency, the court must hear from this witness again. If it's true, as we now believe that the victim was already dead before the gunshot was heard, it's highly likely that Miss Brett knows something about it. Incredible. I certainly didn't anticipate this twist of events. I'm sorry to say, Miss Brett, that you will have to forget your luncheon engagement.
But Your Excellency, she will starve. How will she ever fit in that corset?
I'm kidding. The justice system in our country may be in its infancy, but rest assured, all reasonable doubt must be dispelled before I am prepared to pass judgment. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much.
What was that smile?
Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours.
Oh man, this translated so poorly.
Ah, Miss Brett, you speak Japanese?
Well, of course I do. I am studying in your country after all. But why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now?
My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world.
As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in your vulgar tones as much as possible. Ugh.
That's racist, truly. What was I gonna say? Oh, I was about to say, it's kind of funny to imagine that Giselle here speaks Japanese with a British accent, because I know a TikToker who speaks Japanese with a southern accent. for a skit, like on purpose, of course, but it's so funny.
Konnichiwa, minasan.
But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen. So I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicating with you all on your own level.
Oh, well, I'm into this sort of thing. You are the epitome of a true English gentlewoman. We are truly honored by this lavish consideration you so graciously afford us.
God, he's such a bottom.
I see. In that case, Miss Brett, I will now ask you to testify in your own words about the events leading up to the death of the victim, Dr. Wilson.
So we're finally going to hear her own words on the matter. Things are getting interesting, Junosuke. Yep, we're getting close to the end.
The victim's death. Quote-unquote death.
Unfortunately, I have no idea when the poor man burnt his wrist like that. When the waiter brought my steak, the professor and I raised our glasses in toast. As far as I've heard, the post-mortem report showed no other possible cause of death besides the gunshot. I'm really slipping into Australian. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. She's so condescending.
That most captivating and beautiful testimony will go down in the Supreme Court's history. Thank you.
This guy's also a bottom.
Easy does it.
I hope that is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tones of your unbecoming tongue.
Oh,
forgive me. I do hope I haven't insulted anyone. Sheesh.
Not at all, not at all. It is a delight merely to hear you speak, dear lady. And it seems very clear from your testimony that this boorish talk of the victim's burn is utterly irrelevant.
I will be speaking to your country's Minister of Justice about what has happened here today.
The Minister of Justice?
May that irritating little bully of a student be given the harshest punishment possible. Ui.
Amen.
Thanks? Was that a prayer then? Well, you'll have to forgive the irritation, Miss Brett, and put up with a cross-examination now. I expect you've noticed that this little bully of a student, as you put it, doesn't miss much.
I'm sure I don't need to remind you, Counsel, that this will be your final cross-examination in this trial. If you fail to demonstrate any problems with this witness's testimony, I will be ruling on the case immediately. Is that clear?
Well, there it is. One of his signature animations. Yes, Your Excellency. Gotta recenter. Yep. Gotta focus. Slap. All the slapping.
Then you may proceed with the cross-examination.
This is it, I think, maybe? That's it. Is that right? No other cause of death? Okay. Please do show me. Okay, so I might need to press a few times. Nope. I will be honest, I do remember what exactly went down, I just don't remember how to get to that point. I'm gonna start pressing like hell though. When in doubt, press it out. What were they toasting to? I pressed the wrong button. As you testified before, you were drinking carbonated water. Is that right?
Dr. Wilson was only permitted to drink water at the time, if you remember. Which explains why he ordered that drink. Correct, waiter?
Exactly as you say, sir. Although...
Although?
Whether or not the professor actually drank any of the water when I delivered the steak to the table, I'm afraid I don't remember that.
Damn you! Jeez. I have enough English to understand that, at least. For the benefit of others in the court, it means bless you.
I think it means the exact opposite. Anyway. Press that. Yes, it's written here in the paperwork. Fatal hemorrhage from ballistic trauma.
Yes. Luckily for all of us, a little burn on the wrist isn't going to kill us. And as there were no other signs of trauma on the victim's body to indicate some other cause of death, it can only have been the bullet from your gun that put an end to this innocent man's life.
But it doesn't make sense. The bomb must have happened straight away when the plate was first brought to the table by the waiter. Yes, that's true. If it had cooled even slightly, it wouldn't have been able to make a burn like that. I hadn't thought about that, but that's a great point. And if the victim burnt his wrist on the hot plate as soon as it was brought out from the kitchen, then he must already have been dead at that point.
And yet, the fact is that the victim was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Until you're able to show the court evidence to disprove that, this is a complete waste of time.
I concur. Prosecutor Ouchie is right. Totally not biased here. Ah! Without leaving a trace. If someone is shot or strangled or stabbed or thrown from a height, however a person's life is taken, there are always telltale traces on the body.
Quite right, dear lady. And as our police force has thoroughly examined the body of the deceased, there can be no doubt. Isn't that right, Inspector Hosenaga?
As I've said, I always aim for a flawless investigation. There would be physical traces of all those causes of death, that's true. But maybe there's some other way of killing someone that doesn't leave a mark. If, heaven forbid, you doubt me, young man, you're going to have to tell everyone how exactly you think the professor did lose his life. Otherwise, I'm afraid your argument falls rather flat, doesn't it? I'm trying to channel, like, back in high school, my senior year, I played Mrs. Potts in our production of Beauty and the Beast. I'm trying to channel that again.
Ugh. I'll tell you when you're older, Chip. Oh no, perish the thought. Calling such a sweet young lady's innocence into question? On my honor, I, Taketsuchi Auchi, will cut down any who dare cast such aspersions.
A way of killing someone that leaves no trace. We need some evidence to back us up here. Yes, evidence. really was, I didn't press on the first statement. Was that the one I needed to press on? Infidia, what do you mean by that? In the lands of the Great British Empire, the police store everything found at a what? The police store everything found at a crime scene for later examination. But in this country, you investigate once, and that's the end of it. Isn't that so?
Quite right. La Carnival is open for business as usual today, just days after the incident. You can come sit at the murder table for an extra 10 cents.
Oh, I forgot about this mechanic. Exactly, which means that even if the investigation takes a different direction, vital evidence may be lost. It doesn't even occur to your native detectives to try to preserve the crime scene. I'm trying to be as tactful about this as I can, you understand.
Haha, killer blow! The lady is as formidable as she's beautiful.
Amazing! He's actually admitting our police might be flawed. Perhaps Prosecutor Auchi is finally starting to see sense. I very much doubt that. Still, there's something about what Miss Brett just said. There was a moment before when something didn't quite seem right. What do you think, Ryunosuke? I think it's going terribly. No matter how much I press her, I'm not turning up any new information. Yes, as I suspected, she's a tough witness. We need to find a way to break her testimony, or the cross-examination will be over. But that would mean I have to find a way. There must be some clue somewhere to help us find a chink in her armor. Kazuma. What, Ryunosuke? There is one thing I noticed. Something that's been bothering me. Bothering you? You mean about Miss Brett? Actually, no. About the person standing next to her. Inspector Hosonaga. The detective? Yes, he seemed to react a little strangely to Miss Brett's last statement. I was wondering if it might be significant. If it might present an opening, maybe. Alright, I have an idea. Try pressing her on that last statement one more time. If you think so, but this time instead of targeting the woman herself. Let's see what we can get out of the detective. Alright then, I wonder what Kazuma's thinking. I'd find out soon enough, I suppose, once I press Miss Brett on her last statement again. Yep. Totally forgot about this little gimmick. Infidia, Get to that moment, yup. Yes, there it is again. The detective's reaction is just the same as before. Why? Up until now, the detective has been in the stand with Miss Brett as her interpreter. But things are very different now. For this testimony, the detective is just listening to what the Englishwoman has to say. This could be a golden opportunity. What do you mean? When people are actually... God, that theme song. When people are actually testifying, they're usually very careful not to let anything slip. However, when they're listening to someone else speak, you'll find they often let their guard down. You're right. Look at him, he's lost in his own thoughts. It's time to pursue the man in his train of thought. Sorry? Pursue? I'll explain how to do it now, Ryunosuke. It's all to do with the witness marker. What marker? At the moment, we're focused on Miss Brett,
who's the person actually making the current statement. Look at me being a tutorial. But by moving the marker left and right, you can turn your attention to the other people in the stand. This is why having multiple witnesses is relevant to the game. While you're looking at the other witnesses, you'll be able to pursue them. If you can catch the person at just the right time, you might uncover some new information to pursue. You can't miss it, they always make some kind of noise and new animation. If you ever notice a strange atmosphere amongst the people on the stand, take a good look around. Alright then, so first I should move the marker and focus on the detective. Then pursue him and see what's on his mind. Here we go! Let's go! And D-pad. Pursue. Chotto! Oh, what's the meaning of this? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to shock you. He really was lost in his thoughts deeply. It looked like you were thinking something just now, Inspector. Perhaps having heard what the lady next to you had to say? Oh, this is suspenseful music. If there's something you'd like to say, please share it with the court.
What is the meaning of this? It's the delightful English woman who's testifying at the moment. If you can't find fault with her testimony, then the cross-examination should be over immediately.
Oh, is that how it works? Absolutely not. The detective is in the stand, which makes him a valid witness.
Slap.
Yes, not to mention the fact that he is intimately involved with the case. I was about to say immediately involved with the case. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes, the blood. Do you have something to add in relation to the statement just made by Miss Brett? Well, yes, if you don't mind, I would like to speak. The lady is right. Our country's police practices are not as modern as those used in Great Britain. Which is why I, Satoru Hosonaga, always strive to make every investigation I'm involved in flawless. By forgetting photographic evidence I took myself. What do you really mean by that? I'll tell you what I mean. I won't have evidence lacking on my watch. I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. Jeez. It may be preserving evidence, but you're certainly tampering with the crime scene. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. A crime scene thief? Well, it looks like the lady's remarks touched a nerve there. Take this, for example. Is that... This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. I have pockets deep enough to hold a whole bottle in there. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, there's some left in the bottle. I can see it. One day our police force will be among the best in the world. The time is coming, I guarantee it. Alright, take it easy, bud. I can't say I condone the witness's actions, but I do understand the sentiment. The court will accept the glass bottle of water as evidence. Carbonated water shared on the day of murder. It was on the victim's table. Miss Brett, can you confirm this is indeed the bottle from which you drank on the day of the victim's death? Yes, it was that bottle. What was that about? She seemed to avert her eyes when she answered the judge's question. Very well. Counsel, you may resume the cross-examination.
Time to look at that bottle.
And the inspector will kindly control his fervor. It's so funny when they cut to him with blood on his mouth. Alright. Well, not much to look at, I guess. The label is written in a foreign language that I don't recognize. Do you know what it says, Kazuma? I think it's French. This must be very expensive water. Yes, but what does it say? That's what I was asking. Then go to France and ask. You could just say that you don't know. Alright, that was much. So this carbonated water is the last drink Dr. Wilson ever had. It looks like there's a little left in the bottle, although it's just plain water now. You know, I've been sweating so much, I'm absolutely parched. I'll just have a sip of this to keep me going. No, Ryunosuke, you can't do that. For one thing, that's evidence. You can't go drinking evidence. Oh no, you're right. We don't know what might be inside, do we? You never cease to amaze me, Ryunosuke. In more ways than one. I wonder, could there be anything in this water? What's the matter? You've gone quiet all of a sudden. I think I might have just worked something out. An interesting possibility. Okay. There was no new information like I had hoped from there. Pretty sure it's right here though. I have a present. Yeah. What is this? The bottle of water? Actually, there's one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. Obviously, I'm referring to poison. Poison? On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle of carbonated water. Could it be that there was poison inside? Could it be that the professor actually died after taking a sip from his glass? Order! 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 And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could possibly have done it. Giselle Brett, it was you! Dun dun dun.
This is outrageous! To suggest such a thing without a scrap of evidence. You little rookie imbecile, have you even considered the delicate situation our country finds itself in now?
Who cares about the country? I'm about to be sent to jail for no reason.
Have you forgotten that we have only just signed an accord of friendship with the British Empire? Have you even the vaguest inkling that your rash accusations could jeopardize the entire treaty?
I just realized Kazuma's had a sword this whole time. He shouldn't have a weapon in the courtroom. Jeez. This is not a political arena. This is a trial to determine one individual's guilt with respect to one crime.
What?
The fact that this woman is British makes no difference. We are here to determine the truth. If I may,
I will silence you forever for this
Oh my gosh. I forgot she speaks. Also, she sounds like Peach.
Shut up!
It is you who should be silent. Silent.
Of course. dear lady!
Where did that come from? She just snapped.
Soylent, nor.
I'm afraid I may have spoken unfairly before. I offer my most humble apologies.
Hey, Leo. Who died? Dr. John H. Wilson died. You're a little late to the party.
Lee,
We're getting close to the climax here.
I'm sorry, my lady, to what are you referring? I described your police force as inferior. But no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe.
Oh, you just woke up, really? And how was your hibernation? Your mini hibernation?
The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. Of course. You did? Have you forgotten what my guiding principle is already? I strive for a flawless investigation every time. I don't believe it. Naturally, we tested the inside of the bottle and its contents. And? What did you find, Inspector?
Your back hurts because you move around weirdly in your sleep. Oh, that's unfortunate. What do you mean weirdly? Like you toss and turn at a weird angle? Sometimes I find myself sleeping with like my left arm above my head, like elbow towards the headboard, and I wake up with my arm like half asleep. Wake up! Wake up! Yoga! And also our CB and I have been sleeping on the same mattress for like, what, 5 years now, so it's kind of worn out, tired, hurting our necks and backs sometimes. We should get a new one when we move. I ordered tests for every toxin that's available in this country at the present time. Sometimes you wake up near the edge of the bed, so you probably have been balancing. Excuse me. Wow. That doesn't sound comfortable. I'm surprised you don't fall off or wake up at that time. At that point. If you keep sleeping on the edge of your bed, you're gonna... the boogeyman might drag you down. We could find no trace of poison of any description in the bottle of carbonated water, Your Excellency. What? Are you sure? The Dirt Man might get you. The Dirt Man? Who the heck calls the Oogie Boogie Man the Dirt Man? Jeez. He can take me. You're into joke's on you. I'm a monster fucker. Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. He's real. Oh my gosh. The tests were meticulously carried out by the chief coroner himself. No. No! Holy shit, they made the boogeyman real. Right? I'm very grateful to all you Japanese. You've successfully established my complete innocence in this horrid affair. Thank you. It's attention from another person I'll take. Okay, you're a bit touch-starved, aren't you? Go have Cassie plop on your lap.
But of course, dear lady, the pleasure was all ours.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Don't worry, I already have your Christmas gift here. I just have to grab you a couple other things and wrap it up and send it your way, so... I won't tell you what it is, but I hope it'll maybe help with your touch-starvedness. You need to feed her. Yes, please, go do that. She deserves all the treats and snacks. I was so sure. This
can't be right. Everything falls into place if he was poisoned. Thank you, Counsel. I think that cross-examination has clarified everything. As the prosecution have asserted... A shot to the chest from this gun is the only conceivable cause of death. A shot through the heart, and you're to blame.
And before I bought you that lap pillow from Japan... Lap pillow? You mean the desk buddy? What's it called? The posture pal? The one that's literally the shape of someone's lower body. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about, but I have a vague idea. I've seen body pillows shaped like an upper body, like it has an arm shape to it, so that, okay, you'll send it, great. Like, I've seen body pillows that are vaguely arm shaped, so it gives you the sensation of, like, cuddling up to somebody's armpit. Very weird, but... Waiting on your... Oh, that's a lot of news messages. But no, it is not a pillow of any sort. That would be much more padded. Ew, what the fuck? Okay, when you said lap pillow, that's not what I had in mind. It really just looks like a mannequin of the lower body. Like it's a lower body sitting on with his knees tucked in, you know? Like sitting on their knees. And there's a guy with his head resting on the lap. It's unsettling. And I can kind of see the seam on the ankle there. On the right foot. It really looks like a mannequin. Okay. Thanks for that. I can't unsee it. Man, when it comes to touch-starved and horny at the same time, you can really trust the Japanese. People are starved, yeah. Japanese people are starved. And it's no wonder the Japanese population is slowly declining.
Furthermore, the accused, who by his own admission was holding this weapon, is the only possible culprit. I'm done for. The court wishes to apologize for the great inconvenience this has caused you, Miss Britt.
Oh no. Oh no. I'm just glad the matter is resolved.
Before proceeding, I must ask the counsel for the defense. Counsel for the defense, do you have any further new evidence to present the court at this point?
Gee, I hope, I wish. No!
Kazuma.
God, those lips. Sorry, what? Don't listen to me.
I'm sorry, Ryunosuke. I have nothing more.
Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving. Man, I suck at British accents. Queen's English. Oh, there she is. I totally forgot about her.
Please, wait.
Isn't that... Crazy how they've been using the same dialogue sound since the first game. Oh, I know, for sure. That's what makes it so iconic. Ah, a lady! Another lady! How can this be? Women aren't allowed in Japan? Ancient times Japan? Yeah, now that you mention it, they haven't really like remastered the sound effects for this game like they did for Pokemon. Woman.
What is the meaning of this?
Forgive me. Oh. Forgive me for intruding on court proceedings, Your Excellency. Sasato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Mikotoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package wrapped in a furoshiki cross. Furoshiki is just a traditional Japanese cloth, kind of like a thin towel, like a bandana thinness. It can be used to wrap up almost anything. Oh, there was a checkpoint. Okay. Well, it's only been an hour and 45 minutes, so I think I can keep going until we get to the bottom of this. Durag, stop! No. Durags are only for the head. Furoshiki can be used for anything, like your bento boxes or your luggage. A gift to somebody. I think it's really just like origami, but in cloth form. Went to feed Cassie and didn't see her around, and as soon as you put the food on her bowl, she showed up out of nowhere. Yep, that's how cats do. Same with Coco. She's most likely usually sleeping under the bed or like somewhere in the bedroom, but unless she's already hungry and like weaving between my legs, I don't see her, and then as soon as I start rustling in the kitchen, she's materialized out of thin air. 15 years young, she's showing no sign of decline. She'll live forever. Well, I understand you are the judicial assistant to the defense, but why this sudden ingress into my courtroom? Ingress.
Ha! A judicial assistant? And a woman, no less. God forbid. The rules state that females are not permitted into this court of law other than to testify.
Glad we made that, very explicit.
Yes, I fully understand. I ask only for 5 minutes of time. I have some vital evidence that I must hand over to the defense. Ha! You're too late, little girl. This trial has already been concluded.
5 minutes. I will not allow a moment more.
But, Your Excellency, I am most grateful.
I gave her like a Japanese accent last time. Maybe I should do that too. Who exactly are you?
I'm sorry, there's no time. Please simply accept this for now.
What is it? A report about something written in English. You can totally hear him have the same voice as Mr. Ping from Kung Fu Panda. Oh yeah, that's Poe's dad, right? God, I love that movie. Unfortunately, I heard that the latest Kung Fu Panda movie sucked. Poor Jack Black doesn't deserve this. Yeah, Mr. Ping is great. You're right, that's definitely the energy. It's alright. Oh, you watched it? I didn't know this. Did you see it in theaters? Or stream? God, something is smelling good over from the neighbors. Jack Black? I know. Yeah, you tuned in at a great time. Yeah, we're talking about Kung Fu Panda. Not the Minecraft trailer. Oh, you torrented it. It's already on torrent? Damn. Never underestimate the pirates. Yo ho. Oh shit, Peak. Maybe? I don't know. Jack Black, as much as the guy is pretty great, he hasn't had a whole lot of hits, it feels like. He also kinda had like a controversial moment on TikTok some months ago, I heard. It was regarding his band member. Damn, is somebody already cooking turkey? Like, it smells so good here. Someone's never seen Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny. Jack Black as Phoenix Wright, stop it. I can already hear Jack Black saying, "Objection!" Skadoosh! That's what he says when he presents the evidence. Skadoosh! Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. There has to be a mod for this. Like, Phoenix Wright with the Jack Black voice. Live action Phoenix Wright when? Okay, but like, there already has been a stage play adaptation of the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney series. They're actually really good. I think there were 3. I've seen 2 at least, and they all had original story. But yeah, really, really cool lighting and like projection mapping. Super great costumes. The actors were very animated. It was actually really good. It's on YouTube if anybody's curious. They might have English subtitles. Excuse me. There's a 2012 Ace Attorney live action movie. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. With the awkward looking wigs and the over the top reactions. Yeah, no, this series really translates better into a dramatic stage play rather than like a live action movie. So, highly recommend watching that 2-hour-long show on YouTube.
It's Giselle Brett's research.
The English woman? After the trial resumed earlier, Aria, I hurried back to the university. By the way, Novia, when you tagged me in that post with the marriage rings of Phoenix and Edgeworth, I quite almost spat out all the water in my mouth. I was trying to take a sip of something. That was so good. I had no idea those rings existed, but I'm so pleased to know that they do. Fucking amazing. Star-crossed attorneys, truly.
I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper.
Oh, yes, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? Wait, where does this game even take place? It takes place in old times Japan. The Taisho era Japan. I forget. What is that, like the 1800s or so? But this is right around the time when Western cultures was making its way into Japanese culture. And so that's why we have a lot of talk about like British 1912 to 1925. Well, excuse me. That makes more sense though. They do have some decent technology at this time. Like cameras. Well, cameras have been for a long time, but also the talk of stage plays reminds you of the Persona 3 stage play where someone accidentally lost their bath towel during one of the scenes. Oh no! Was that? Oh my gosh! What did they have? Like a suit underneath, like a morph suit, a spandex suit? I hope. Oh my gosh! Persona 3. I'm trying to remember which characters were from Persona 3. I only really know Persona 4 characters by face, and then Persona 5 I watched the anime. I also didn't know there was a Persona stage play. That sounds great though. Honestly, there have been such good anime / video game stage plays in Japan. I think they're much more worthwhile than like a live action show on Netflix. Like there's the Haikyuu stage play, there was the Black Butler stage play. You thought they would pull some BS out of nowhere and say this is still in San Francisco like some of the other games. No. This is way too culturally engaged to say like, we're currently in Bridgerton, something like that. You'll see in a couple episodes, or you'll probably see in the next episode. Persona 5 anime is a lot more misogynistic than the actual game. Really? Huh, I would have expected the opposite. I thought it was toned down, given how, like, anime tends to, you know, cram things in a short season, so I was like, man, if the anime is this crude, I wonder how serious things get in the actual game. I still need to play that. I have a used copy. I keep forgetting about it. Nier has like 3 of them, and they're all different side stories and are still canon to the Nier games, damn. And yet, we only ever hear about Nier Automata. Which, by the way, I wanted to like the anime, but man, it sucked. I didn't watch a whole lot of it, granted, but man, it wasn't great. The game is so fucking good. Please stream Persona 5, you'll go apeshit. Okay, sure. You know, that'll be a great way to force myself to play it. So, yeah, I'm down for that. It's on my PS5, though, so... as soon as I get a decent gaming PC and hopefully resolve the audio lag, I will definitely do that. Yeah, Lego! I'm so down for this. You're in the Discord server with Nier fans and they don't like the anime either. Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah, the animation... Man, the art style was great, and then the animation itself was terrible. Like, I know Leo has seen clips of the 3D rendered machinery not syncing up with the hand-drawn characters. It was so bad. The jackasses, yeah, exactly! God. There should be a way to stream PS5 onto desktop. There is. I mean, I've been using my capture card to stream PS5, but for some reason, as soon as I go live, the audio is out of sync. That wasn't the case on the output for a while, but I noticed on my latest Zenless stream it was out of sync both for my audio monitor and the stream output, so I'm just thinking my laptop's not strong enough to handle such a machine. And getting a gaming PC was one of my goals for this year, but a lot has happened, and now I'm preparing for like multiple trips next year, so I really need to figure out my budget again. Probably not. Yeah, this was a discounted laptop from Best Buy, so definitely not it. Life! Yes, life always gets in the way. It wasn't all bad though, because really what took up the most attention in the past year was the wedding stuff, so... I have a couple trips planned for next year. I'm already booked to go to Disney World in January with a friend, and then I'm hoping to go visit my family in Japan in September. So, those are pretty big expenses I'm working towards. But I should be able to fit in a gaming PC somewhere. Although if we're... CB and I are considering moving now because our neighbors are so annoying. So I guess that's also an expense. When will I become a real streamer? Please, everybody help me get to affiliate so you guys can help me fund my my gaming PC. A GoFundMe for my gaming PC. I kid. There's no such thing. I will take art commissions though, those are always open. Just DM me. Shameless plug. Anyways. We got the medical students research report, that's right. I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself. Oh, no, of course not. Of course not. Special characteristics of curar, and its effects on human subjects. Interesting. Curea? What's that? I've never heard that word before.
Time's up! The prosecution demands the immediate removal of this female trespasser from the courtroom.
Jesus. I love period-accurate misogyny.
There was too little time for me to read it in detail, but I've summarized what I could on a note just inside the cover. If you think it could be valuable, please cast your eye over it.
This is wonderful. Thank you. Sales report. Love to see it.
Goodbye then, and good luck.
I can't emulate Kana Hanazawa's voice, I'm so sorry. You have had long enough, Council. We cannot detain our English guest any longer. I ask the prosecution and the defense now one last time. Does either side have any further evidence to present to the court? I presume not, but...
The prosecution has made its case convincingly enough already. Nothing more to add, Your Excellency.
Ryunosuke, we're out of options here. This really is our very last chance. I forgot to look at the actual report. Synopsis. Poison made from the bark of certain trees in the jungles of South America. The hunters of the region have used it since ancient times to incapacitate their prey. Effects. It's instant paralysis of the entire body and subsequent death, even in minute doses. Route of entry. The above-mentioned effects occur when the poison enters the body through a wound, such as that inflicted by a blowpipe dart. Practical applications. Due to its ability to render the human body paralytic, it's believed that the toxin could have application as an anesthetic. However, a solution for the respiratory arrest caused as a result of the full-body paralysis must be found first, or patients would die of suffocation. Terrifying. You got distracted because of sibling on phone call. Oh, you got a sibling? Nice. I do too. However, if you use more than one computer to split the load of the streaming, or a more powerful system will help. Oh, yeah. That would make sense. I don't have a spare computer that's reliable for that, but good to know. Always rely on the IT friend to know this kind of stuff. I have so many computer nerds in my friend circle, it's great. This really is our very last chance. Yes, I know. Your Excellency, the defense does have new evidence. That look. The unyielding stare of a true Japanese warrior. Because that's totally a thing that people say. Well, Miss Brett.
Yes, Your Excellency.
If you wouldn't mind, perhaps you could grace us with your presence a little longer.
It's a delightful invitation, but I'm afraid it's not so very long until tea time. I'll have...
Forgive me, Miss Brett. It seems I wasn't clear. I realize it was phrased as a question, however. I must ask you to treat that as an order.
I've said it many times before, but the Japanese language makes no sense.
I would agree. So roundabout.
Tea time and crumpet. Pinkies up. Tea time and crumpets.
My apologies, dear lady. So, Counsel, what is this new evidence that demands the court's attention? You know, the thing that just came through my door.
Hi! Miss Giselle Brett, we understand you are studying under Dr. Wilson at the Yume University, doing research. Research, by sheer coincidence, perhaps, into a deadly poison. What?
Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel?
A toxin known as Curare, Your Excellency. You have helped for a large 24-hour stream, so you've had to figure out how to best handle streaming large games, and you've had to fully stream on a desktop, then connect it to another computer that the games were actually played on. Dang, really? What were these games? Doom? Until Dawn Remastered, maybe? Oh gosh, Baldur's Gate 3, that game is massive. CB less. He gets the joke. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death. What complete and utter nonsense? Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it.
You wouldn't have done.
What do you mean?
I mean that you wouldn't have heard of Curare before, for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist. Correct. Which means, no matter what tests the police can do for toxin, they'd never identify Curea. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison.
What?
Order! Council, does this deadly poison truly exist? You're not just making shit up? According to this report authored by the visiting research student from England, Curea has long been used by the tribespeople of South America as a poison to lace their arrows. It seems that it's reasonably well known among European doctors and scientists. Is that actually a poison though? Like, I've never actually bothered to look up Curea.
To lace their arrows?
The report states that it is produced from the extract of a tree that grows deep in the Amazonian jungle, and it was first brought back to Europe at the turn of the century by explorers. It claims that animals shot by arrows laced with Curea suffer instant death. Doesn't that about sum it up, Miss Brett?
Trumpery!
Trumpery.
These aspersions are utter trumpery!
Can we make that the new slogan for our upcoming new president? Thanks.
To start with, if the victim had been administered some of this so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain, and the other diners would have surely noticed.
That's true. What do you say to that, Inspector? Obviously, I would have noticed a disturbance like that. I don't remember anything like that either. I didn't notice the professor being in any kind of pain. Curea is in fact real. Oh shit. Okay. Is it accurate in this game? Like it's instantly paralysis and death of suffocation? Sorry to put this in your search history now. I hope you're not on the FBI list. Just tell them you were writing a novel. Jesus. According to this, however, it's the other way around.
What do you mean, the other way around?
The very fact that the victim didn't show any visible signs of distress is evidence that Curea was used. Yep, oh shit, okay, cool. Cause I was like, I feel like there was a game I've played where they made up a fictional poison that had all the convenient effects that they wanted for the story. I thought maybe this was one of them. Excuse me. You're probably on the list for meds you're taking? Nah, I'm sure you're fine. You're taking the usuals, you know? Explain yourself, Counsel. The moment this toxin enters a person's system, it causes instant paralysis. In other words, afflicted victims lose all strength and are completely unable to move. Phasmo, Chained Together... You're trying to remember other games, but it's been a while since then. Okay, fair. I've played neither of those titles, but damn, I didn't realize that they were that big. Although 24-hour stream does sound pretty meticulous. Like, that sounds like a lot of preparation. Got curious and looked up if you could OD on Zofran because it's a nausea med. Oh gosh. I mean, you could, I'm sure you can OD on everything. Damn it. There goes the dog again. You can, in fact. Okay, great to know. Write that down, authors. Add that to your murder mystery. Zofran almost sounds like saffron. That could also be a plot point, wink wink. Didn't mean to drink that water. Even if they were in total agony, there would be no visible signs of pain at all. How terrible! Obviously, you look up sometimes if you can overdose on ibuprofen because it sounds funny as hell for you. Well, that's a little cynical, don't you think? I'm pretty sure you can.
That's why even OTC meds like ibuprofen and Advil have strict dosage listed on the bottles. Like,
Sephiros! Zofaran! That's so funny.
but like somebody once said, poison, when taken in the right amount, can be medicine, so the reverse should be true as well. Jesus, that dog. Obviously, if a man lost all strength in his muscles, he'd collapse on the floor. But with a chair under him for support, as Dr. Wilson did, the effects could go largely unnoticed. But I don't follow, Kazuma. That's just paralysis. I thought the poison caused instant death. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. Everything is dangerous, if not dealt in quantity. Exactly. Don't overdo things, ever. Like, I was talking to one of my coworkers earlier this year, I think, and he was like, have you heard about that one YouTuber who drank so much boba every day that they got like an ulcer? And I was like, no, Jesus, I didn't know tapioca could do that. And they were like, yeah, just goes to show if you intake too much of something, it's never good. You need a jar full of apple seeds for the cyanide in them to kill you? Jesus. I hadn't even thought about cyanide being in apple seeds, but thanks. God, what is that dog barking at? But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fall. Respiration? In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. God, that sounds like being buried alive. I hate it.
That's hideous.
To the observer, it would look almost like the victim was slipping peacefully into an endless sleep, or drowning above land. Watch a chubby emu vid, and you'll hear some stupid stuff relating to lack of moderation. Stupid stuff? Never heard of chubby emu, but okay. Good to know. Is this sort of like that TV show My Weird Addiction or whatever it was? That kind of stupid? But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly curare poison. Ugh, yikes. And you're suggesting that this bottle, Counsel, actually contains this terrifying poison? You think if you shotgun like 400 bananas in a minute, it would kill you? It's some really weird shit like that. Like you're most likely to die for other reasons first, but it's really funny. Okay. Yeah, I can't refute that one. Damn, 400 a minute, huh? God, that dog is so loud. So would that be like if you drank a gallon of banana smoothie in a minute, you'd get the same effect? That's terrifying. It's the potassium. Ah, yes. Bananas are known to be full of potassium. Man, that's so crazy. The things we enjoy every day could potentially kill us.
This is all very convenient, isn't it? A hitherto unknown poison for which there is no means of testing? What a happy tale for the defense.
Wait, is that you, Leo? The gallon is probably still limited in how many bananas it has. That's true. And also, if it was a smoothie, it would have other stuff mixed into it. Yeah, it is, Leo. A woman drank 4 liters juice every day for 3 years. This is what happened. 4 liters juice? Do I want to watch this? It sounds gross already. Although that kind of reminds me of... there was a Japanese variety show I used to watch regularly where they bring in, like, people obsessed with one certain thing to talk about said obsession. And there was a guy who was like, he only ate fruit for 5 years or something because that's how much he loved them, even though they're expensive as hell in Japan. And he ended up, like, having a nutrition deficiency. Isn't that weird? Fruits are full of vitamins, I guess, not nutrition.
If I may. All these facts, you think you're so clever, but you must be...
Yeah. Miss Brett, please tell the dog to shut up. Thank you.
It is you who must be taught. Of course. Dear lady! So, this is how you Japanese behave, is it? What? You steal another's honest hard work and then announce the results as if you discovered them. I'm appalled. What a loathsome act.
Well, Miss Brett, the feeling is mutual.
Whatever do you mean?
Capitalizing on the unfortunate circumstances of an innocent man to frame him for a heinous crime? That really is a loathsome act. Wouldn't you agree?
Enough of this! I, for one, refuse to accept it. The idea of some poison that doesn't even exist in the great empire of Japan is breaking the rules.
She is one slip up from saying a racial slur, but goes, you Japanese. Oh, absolutely. I think she doesn't say a racial slur because right now she's supposed to be speaking Japanese. She probably just doesn't know the Japanese word for a slur. If she was speaking her Queen's English, she would immediately drop a slur or two.
What's so funny? Oh, excuse me. Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett.
May I borrow that bottle for a moment, please?
Well, yes, I don't see, why not? Oh, you don't want to miss this. Yeah, my fridge is also loud.
Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys.
Sorry?
To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers!
It'd be funny if she was actually just pouring it past her shoulder.
Wait, what are you doing? No sparkle left at all. How appropriate for this shabby affair.
The deafening silence of my whirring fridge in the background.
Goodness. Whatever is the matter? You all look quite stunned.
So, no curare. The bottle was clean. Is that what you're saying?
You look quite incredulous, little boy, but of course.
That's the simple truth. Jeez. So smug.
Thank you for presenting the findings of my research so concisely here in this grand venue. Most kind. Thank you, waiter. Now then, Your Excellency.
Yes, Miss Brett.
I should like to be excused now, please. I think I've given more than enough of my time for the furtherance of friendship between our countries.
Yes, dear lady. We are most gratified with all the assistance you've given. She does the
laugh, yes. That's exactly what I was thinking too.
Who said the whole bottle was spiked? Oh. It, that's also a thought, huh? Like maybe she just laced the glass that the doctor drank from.
Hmm?
This doesn't make sense. There had to have been poison in that bottle. So how did she swallow a whole glass and live to tell the tale? I don't understand it.
Well, I suppose if nothing else, this little Far Eastern charade
will make for interesting conversation at the next party I attend in London. There has to have been poison in that bottle, doesn't there? But there can't have been, because otherwise she would have keeled over dead. Come on, Ryunosuke. We have all the clues now. The bottle of water contains poison. The culprit did put Curia. Oh my gosh. The culprit did put Curia poison into Dr. Wilson's carbonated water. The defense refuses to change its position. You're serious?
Fool! Are you blind? There's no possible way that bottle could contain poison. I mean, we just saw
Miss Brett drinking the water from it? That's right. Which rather complicates your argument, I think. Also developing a resistance to poison. Ah yes, but this is an instant acting poison that doesn't exist in other than like South America. Although, yeah, what if it was like an allergic reaction, since this poison could be used as an anesthetic, we just read, and some people are either resistant and or allergic to anesthesia. Man, that would suck. Like, you wouldn't know that kind of thing until you went under that anesthesia. I'd hate to be that kind of physical build. And I believe that complication can be explained.
how exactly.
I need to think through all the things that didn't quite add up here, one by one. I'm sure the answer is in the evidence we have in the court record somewhere. It has to be. Very well. If the defense truly intends to assert this claim, having that physical build is having a skill issue. I suppose so. It's more like a Pokemon type weakness, I think. Then I must ask you to support the assertion with evidence. What explains how the witness was able to consume this supposedly poisoned water unscathed? Papa, I think it was in here. Oh right. Yeah, it had to have entered a wound. The answer to this riddle is right here in Miss Brett's own research report.
That's not a valid explanation.
No?
After all, we don't speak English. That report is utter gibberish. This impudent young scoundrel is trying to ridicule the court, Your Excellency.
So awkward when reading this in English. And they're like,
we don't read English.
I'm not trying to ridicule anyone, honest. I'm just reading Susato-san's notes. I concur. This report is too extensive to be considered in its entirety by the court. You will direct us to the pertinent section, Counsel. Which section of the report reveals the alleged answer to this riddle? This one. We've been hearing a lot about this Curea poison. The limits of translation strike again. Yep. But I still prefer to play this series in... Not series, I prefer to play this duology in English just because the majority of it is spent talking to the British English people, so...
I think their dialogue comes through better in written English.
And it's left me curious about something.
Oh, Council?
Well, it sounds as though indigenous hunters have...
Oh my god.
No! No! Leave him alone. He's just doing his best trying not to get sent to jail.
Indigenous hunters have been using this poison for years and years to raise the heads of the arrows that they shoot at whatever prey they're hunting.
So we've been led to believe, yes.
And the point of hunting is to catch prey to eat.
Get to the point, please.
But if they were to use these raised arrows, doesn't that mean there would be traces of poison left in the prey the hunters were going to eat?
Yes, good point.
So surely the hunters wouldn't want to eat their prey, would they? Because then they'd be eating poison. Great timing on the your favorite sticker, the pipes.
Good gracious, Council. No, that would be madness.
But I actually found the answer to that conundrum in this research paper here. Under special characteristics, it says this. The poison starts to work after entering the body through a wound.
Through a wound, you say? I see, that makes sense.
Yes, the mention of that particular detail seemed a little strange to me, though. But it all makes sense when you interpret what's written like this. When Curea enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever.
What?
Miss Pratt, you authored this research. You knew Curea's special characteristics, and you knew that you could make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself.
You meddling little...
Oh god.
Rapscallion!
Well, Ryunosuke, it turns out you're an even better lawyer than I thought you'd be.
Really? Me? Gosh. A lawyer? All this poison talk is fascinating, I'm sure, but I fail to see how it possibly...
She really does sound like Peach. Oh my god, her mask is like Wolverine-sized. Holy shit. So the ill-bred little puppy has a new toy to play with. Some facts he read in a book. But I'm afraid knowledge doesn't suit you, little boy. It only makes you look silly. What are you trying to say? Your schoolboyish logic has a fatal flaw. Schoolboyish? Flaw? As even your brain has managed to deduce, Curea is safe to ingest. It seems likely that its effects are neutralized by the acidic nature of the gastric succus. Oh, yes, well, of course. Gastric suckers? What are they? So, if this lethal poison is completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he?
Ah! That's right.
Good gracious.
That's basic science. Science that even a schoolboy should be able to understand, no? No?
Order! Order in court! Order! The logic holds. If the lady and the professor drank the same poison, they would be affected in the same way.
Are you trying to suggest...
Yes, this Curea poison is completely irrelevant to the case on trial.
He sure loves that word, irrelevant.
That's right. He had surgery in his mouth. Yeah, you tell him, Novia.
Surely even a little cockroach like you could understand something as simple as that. Oh, she angry. What is this waiting up inside me? I've never felt like this before.
It's a sort of conviction to break down walls of discrepancies. It's so intense, almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey.
There he is. Yes! He said the thing!
I don't think so, Miss Giselle Brett. How dare you use that tone with me?
Oh yeah, boy! They said the line! I forgot I had that sticker. Yes!
Iggyari! You know very, very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison. You are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead.
Counsel, I'm sure I don't need to remind you. You must provide compelling evidence, as we now know that this poison is completely harmless when ingested. Why would Dr. Wilson alone have been killed by the cure? He had
surgery in his mouth.
As Miss Brett so readily pointed out, she drank the same water as the professor. Okay. Lots of objections here. Order in the chat! However, there was a fundamental and fatal difference between the two diners.
A fatal difference.
Man, you really love that pipe, don't you? The toxic effects of Curea are only felt when the poison enters the body through an open wound.
Chaos!
Order chaos, man, y'all are anarchists. It's like Splatoon 3 all over again. Chaos! So for a healthy person with no injuries, drinking it is completely harmless. But Viva la Revolution, stop it. Oh no, there's an insurrection in my chat. No, my mod, he's going against me. What if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poisoned water?
Inside?
Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Let's go! Revolution! Coup! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. So that's it. You use that knowledge to orchestrate this. Is she laughing? I don't like to repeat myself, but honestly I can't resist. These childish courtroom games and your half-baked arguments are also puerile. I don't know what that means. Big mask? Yes, her mask grows with her rage. What do you mean? Don't worry, little schoolboy. You'll find out soon enough. Oh shit. You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. You'll never see it coming. Spanish Inquisition. No! I mean, it could just slip? Oh, don't do it! Oh, she did it. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. No! No!
Officer, what are you waiting for?
Truly contempt of court. Chaos! This is the chaos you wanted.
Collect up as much of the water from that broken bottle as possible, at once!
You're wasting your time. This delightful carpet under my feet here was a gift from the British Empire. I assure you, it will soak up the water beautifully. Ironic. Water in the Titanic. You have neither the technology nor the presence of mind to recover it. You wiping off the water, thank you. How could you? You won't get away with this. You can thump the bench and shout as much as you like, little boy, but I'm afraid we'll never know now, will we? If there really was poison in the bottle or not. And let us not forget, we still have some very compelling evidence left intact. Isn't that right, counsel for the prosecution? You fool, you can simply do an autopsy. But they did an autopsy and only found the bullet wound. Because they don't have tests for this specific poison in Japan.
Oh, of course. You're referring to this photographic print, I presume, dear lady?
That's right, and really, looking at this photograph, it's as clear as day, isn't it? The poor professor was sitting with his back to me. So, of course, the only person who could have shot him from the front is the little schoolboy. No, you killed the victim that day, using Curer, and in order to frame Ryunosuke Naruhodo for the crime. You waited until he picked up the pistol you'd arranged for him to find on the floor. Before you shot the professor's dead body in the chest with your own hidden gun. Well, early 1900s testing was shite in general. This is also a good point. Especially when they only just started doing it. Until then, the police just would look at the guy and go, "Yep, he's dead all right." Then in the confusion that followed, all you had to do was turn the dead professor and his chair around. You see, you had every opportunity to commit this crime. What a wonderful imagination you have, young man. A hidden gun, you say? And I shot the professor's dead body, did I? What's all this here, then? a little crazy, innit? Tuesday? Well, I'm terribly sorry, but you don't have a shred of evidence.
Exactly. And as you have nothing to support your wild claims, the prosecution's stance remains unchanged. The victim, Dr. John H. Wilson, was killed by a gunshot to the chest. Delivered in cold blood by the accused, Ryunosuke Naruhodo.
This is unbelievable. How can this be happening? Yama do a little dancey dance in about 9 minutes. Okay. You talk about the... Not the toothless sticker? We had her, but now is she really going to get away with it? Oh, you turned 22? Oh shit, no. Oh, 9 minutes, eh? That's right, you're over in the school. That's exciting. Alright, everybody, in about 8 minutes we're gonna sing happy birthday to Novia. You're old, Leo? Think of how old I feel. The way she destroyed that evidence was obscene. Obscene. Ryunosuke! Yes? We've come this far, but now you're the only one who can finish it. What? What do you mean? We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true, so if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. Because that's a valid. Was that my chair or back creaking? That was the chair, yep. I'm not sure what part of the chair, but it's been pretty creaky lately. I really need to just get a new one. It's kinda lost its cushioning. In my head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend upon. Well, yes, that's true, but I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. Ah, yes, the British spelling of color. what I saw, what I felt. The first that just popped into your mind was when the bed goes a rockin'. You like that Firm Bus remix too? That's amazing. When the bus. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of the Game Grumps one. When you see the bus rockin', don't come a knockin'. So is Kazuma related to Edgeworth? No, actually. You would think so, but it'll be clear soon enough, I think. Maybe. Yeah, it should be clear in the next episode. Every kara. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of the same sheen in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? Whoops. I was butt mashing. Shouldn't matter though. Actually, Kazuma, I think I might have something. Thinking back over everything I saw, I think I might have uncovered another clue. You always have something up your sleeve, don't you, Ryunosuke? Come on, let's wipe the smug smile off that English woman's face with some evidence. Alright, I can't wait. God, that sticker throws me off. That thud sound is the exact same. Man. It's been niggling me for a while that something feels amiss in my memories of that day. Stop it. Whatever it is could be the key to arriving at the truth about all this. 5 minutes. Oh my god. It's here somewhere. This ketchup. What are you... Oh my god. What are you spamming me with? What are you spamming me with, Jesus? Oh, it's not you, it's a different friend. Sorry, Leo, I was blaming you for a crime you didn't commit. Oh yeah, good job, Ryunosuke. You're a big boy now. Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this.
Emotional, damn it!
Sorry, Leo. Yes, what is it? He's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. Yeah, seriously. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigation, don't you? Don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day? Where are you going with this, little boy? It's just a memory that's been troubling me. What memory? I saw I saw the scene shown in this photographic print with my own eyes that day. And I saw that on the wooden base of the plate that the steak was served on. Sorry, I'm trying to reply to my friend here. She's like... spamming me with food. You're wiping the blood off the steak. Good job. Was a splatting of blood. What? Oh really? And what of it? Obviously that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way that blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Ah! Yes. For blood to have made it onto the plate, it implies the plate was between the victim and the shooter. Man, y'all are having a blast with that one. 2 more minutes. Which means the shooter must have been sitting opposite from the professor as you were. Giselle Brett, I beg your pardon. Speaking in cursive.
This is beyond ridiculous. Fabricated nonsense. Is the court seriously expected to believe something the accused has apparently just remembered seeing?
I forgot he had voice lines too.
This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to.
Inspector, you mean...
Yes, I took the plate, in the interests of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime and tampering with the crime scene. I took it, meat and all, and I don't care if they've called me a crime scene thief because of it.
You did what?
I took the steak that you had been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating.
Bro, why is he bleeding from the mouth? That's a great question. I can't really remember why either, so I don't have an answer right now. I think we'll find out at the end of this case, hopefully.
And I did it all in the name of justice.
Then we can find out for sure whether or not there's a bloodstain on Miss Brett's plate. We must examine it now.
Sexy vampires, stop. God, I can't, oh shit! Man, y'all were on the dot. Happy birthday, Novi! Big 2-2. That's, it's still 9 p.m. where I am, but happy birthday! That's pretty cool. Your birthday is right after Billy Kid's birthday. You're getting old. Yeah, you're older. You're closer to death. One step closer. Are you doing anything fun to celebrate? Kinda awkward having a birthday fall on a Tuesday, but... Are your roommates planning anything?
Inspector, the court wishes to examine the plate from the victim's table immediately.
Yes, sir. Turn him into Gumtree. Yeah, sure. Sure.
Sorry for the delay. I had to reheat the steak and remove the mold. Here's what you ordered, the steak.
Well, what about the blood? Is there blood on it? Of course there isn't.
Quickly, Inspector. The blood man, show the court. Of course. Examine the plate at your leisure.
This case is gonna be longer than I had hoped.
No. No, the blood. No blood anywhere. But, no, that's impossible!
You still have classes on RIP. Most of your roommates are also leaving because literally tomorrow starts their break. Oh yeah, Thanksgiving, huh? That's so sad. Well, at least I stuck around in this stream long enough to be the first to wish you a happy birthday, so I sincerely hope you have a good birthday. Treat yourself to some cake, maybe.
I know I saw it. I'm sure of it.
You will do your best.
Awesome.
Your timing with the stickers are impeccable, Leo.
It was right there on the table behind the professor. There was blood on the side of the plate.
What an unbecoming expression, little boy.
God, that swan.
You see, this is why I always say you can't trust what the Japanese tell you, Jesus, okay?
Don't trust me, everybody.
I couldn't agree more. In the case of this disgrace to the Empire.
I believe we may finally have reached a conclusion in this trial for the 80th time.
Let's hope so. This let's pretend attempt at courtroom proceedings is painful to watch. But I do promise to do my best to forget all about it when it's over. Ha! This sorry-looking steak reveals the facts all too clearly.
This is the longest tutorial episode in the franchise, honestly.
If the sorry-looking accused wishes to examine it again, be my guest.
Well then, don't mind if I do. Was the plate I saw, or thought I saw, just a figment of my imagination? This is it now. I've lost.
This is a tutorial. Yes, welcome to the first episode of this great Ace Attorney game. This is the tutorial episode.
Emotional, damn it!
Ryunosuke, it's not over yet. Not until the final gavel. Never stop believing in yourself. Keep looking forward no matter what.
This is fine. Events that are unfolding currently.
Believe in myself, Ryari? I'm not sure how much more is left of this. Maybe I should at least examine the evidence for myself. And what's behind stake number 3? Oh. Oh, you missed it. Maybe next time. Huh? What in the world is this? The world. I think it's a Koban coin, and the hallmark is from the Hoei era, I believe. No, I don't mean what is it. I mean, what's it doing there? Wait, did you say it was a Hoei Koban? Yes, and apart from the meat juices, it looks to be in good condition. I imagine it's very valuable. This isn't the first time today that there's been talk of a Hoei Koban. I've heard of pearls before swine, but I've never heard of bouillon. Bouillon and bouillon! Oh my god. Wow, that was a very clever translation. Bouillon and bouillon. I don't even remember what the original text was in Japanese. Damn, that was really punny. I love it. And I don't think you ever will again. This is extraordinary, so this means that this isn't the stake you're looking for. I presume any further examination of evidence in this trial will be unnecessary. What a very thorough court we have here. Does the defense have any objection? Sure do. That bloodstain was going to clinch the trial for me. Can this plate of steak reveal any other clues at all? Sure, yes. I'm glad I didn't button mash there. Oh my god, your timing was almost spot on there. Your Excellency, please wait. This plate of beef is hiding another clue. Another clue that will reveal the shocking truth. The only thing that's shocking here is your unhealthy fascination with beefsteak. Your Excellency, I think I've made myself clear, haven't I? I will not be able to turn a blind eye to any more unnecessary procrastination in this trial. I'm sorry, Miss Brett, but we must ensure a thorough examination of the evidence. You just said it wasn't necessary. I will not give a ruling until I'm completely satisfied that all reasonable doubt has been dispelled. I see. As a newly affirmed ally of my country, that's still your position, is it? Thank you, Your Excellency. Counsel for the defense, you will now clearly show the court to what you are alluding. Where precisely? Underneath. Kokoda! No, counsel, I'm afraid that won't do. Oh, did I have to press the A first? Yeah. Turn this steak over and over, quite literally. I love that I didn't press A because that wasn't in the controls. That's also a good sticker. Yeah. Always ahead of the game. Is that a child screaming outside? Jeez. Good gracious! Good gravy! That's... Koba? What on earth? A Hoei one at that. Oh my god! Yeah. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant on the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat? Squawk! What a ridiculous question. How should I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't know what this is, but I want no part of it.
I fail to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat? That could simply have been a careless mistake by the chef in a moment of distraction.
Don't be absurd. We're supposed to believe that this happened by accident in the kitchen? A rare Hawaii koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll rip up my ticket to Great Britain right now. He's right, it can't be a coincidence. Your Excellency, can we please take a 5-minute break so Nana can end the stream at a good stopping point? Yes, Council. Area Hawaii koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be irrelevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now. I don't have one. No, well, the mod says no to the breaks. I guess we'll keep going.
By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under that stick. Alright, this is a much longer case than I thought. The owner? Yes, it's obvious. There's only one person it can belong to. The owner of the koban that was found underneath the beefsteak is... You are irrelevant. Damn, a good insult for me to use now. Oh yeah, for sure. I heard a different... There was some other good comeback I heard recently. What was it? Was that James Jonah Jameson? What are you talking about? Who are you referring to? Man, what was that? What was that comeback? 6th? Oh, the sergeant? No, this is Yesanosa. Attention! He looks more like Sputnik from the live-action Sonic movies. Right? That's what Jim Carrey was playing? Whoops, my bad. Lee. Gosh darn, I can't remember that comeback, but it was so peak Sonic. Oh yeah, Robotnik. Whoops. Sputnik's the space probe, or the satellite. My bad. Robotnik. Something Nick. Saint Nick. Same thing. Speaking of Sonic, the trailer for the 3rd live-action movie is out. What do you send, Emilio? Remember when Jim Carrey played a space... Sorry. Oh, that guy. Jameson, that's right. Give me photos of Spider-Man! That's who you're talking about. You know what? I see it. I can see it. You have a point there. It's missing on the moon! Obama is pissing on the moon! Look up that reference. I want to see that child shot on screen. Jesus, okay. I think we're all gonna be on the FBI list after this. Obviously, it can only be the antiques dealer and the owner of Rasute, Curio Correcta-san. As in Mr. Cucumber something? Honestly, these ridiculous Japanese names are quite unfathomable, says Giselle. Yes. The old man who testified earlier alongside the military sergeant, correct? Okay, y'all need to chill about this child. Yes, Your Excellency. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his Koban coin when it happened. Excuse me. At exactly the moment the gun was fired. Thought this was irrelevant? Nope, it's totally relevant. Oh, you're talking about Brett. Okay, fair. She is a white-ass bitch. You will not be normal about the child. Okay, you can be not normal about Sonic, but I don't get why you're not normal about the child. I'm lacking in knowledge there.
The gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor.
Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what are you doing? What were you doing?
Hunting for treasure. Indeed. The Hoei era Koban. My prized coin.
Then this Hoei era Koban.
Do you mean to tell me?
No. Please, why would Korekta-san's Koban be sandwiched between the victim's beefsteak and its plate? It makes no sense.
Because her getting shot is what helped shape Shadow's entire character. Oh, I see. That's why he's the edgelord. Gotcha. He used to take care of Shadow in the Ark space station. Okay. I understand. I follow why she must be shot. This is the... whatchamacallit. In the MCU lingo. The Apex event? No. Which is why I'm asking to bring Korekta-san back to the witness stand so we can ask him. Okay, this is where we're gonna end this stream. Officer, bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here. Without a moment's delay. Okay, great. I can't believe we've come back down to that pair again. Me neither. But I have a hunch, a strong hunch, that if we chase down the real significance of this Koba, we'll find that it's a key element in this case. In the case. Oh, look at that. Fade to black. Canon event. Well, that's the Spider-Verse term. There was a Loki series term for the sacred timeline and such. Somehow it's become a very morbid meme for Sonic fans. Oh yes. I don't doubt it if that's the case. Seems like a crucial point in the series. Okay. Anyways, my throat is killing me and it's past 3 hours, so I'm gonna wish Novia another happy birthday. Happy birthday! Thanks so much for dropping in. Please get some rest. Get ready for classes. Hopefully, at this point, we should be close to the end of this tutorial case. Maybe wrap it up next week. I should be able to stream next week. Yeah. Yep. The last 2 weeks of December I will be on winter break, so I may or may not stream then, but it will definitely be regularly scheduled unless something else happens. Okay. Anyways, I think that's it for me. I will have the VOD from last week posted sometime tomorrow at this rate, so if you want to go back and watch the first half of this case, it will be on my YouTube channel. But until next week, hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving weekend if you're celebrating. Get some good turkey and food, pumpkin pie maybe. Yeah, I bet. Fatten yourselves up for the winter. Me too. Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. CB and I will be cooking a nice dinner. Thanks for coming to the stream, CB.
He and I will be cooking a nice Thanksgiving dinner for two and watching Inside Out 2 probably. Nice and cozy. Family time. Alright. Yeah, thanks for coming everybody. Good night, good day wherever you are. See you real soon.